Welcome to the Sunshine Podcast. This is yours truly, Dora Williams, and we are here with the men segment. Men, we need your voice. And I am so happy to have my brother here with me. Yes, I have a brother. He's here with me on today, and we're going to be talking about a topic entitled Raw Truths About Relationships from a man's perspective. So I ask that you, Sunshine Podcast audience, welcome my brother, Philip Williams. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. Raw truths about relationships. We're going to go back a couple years, probably about 4 years ago. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, for a church event. And I was telling my brother about it, and he told me, that I could stay with him during the time that I would be down there. And during our time, we had talks, but this one particular conversation that we had really stuck with me. And I was sharing with him, that I was in a relationship at that particular time, and just so much wisdom has came from him, as it relates to that relationship. And Philip, we're going to start off, I guess, with one that really got me to thinking, and it really, to a certain degree, it caused me to start this podcast. And the first question would be, I guess it's not really a question, but you can elaborate on it. When you said that we can't do it without you, we need you women. Can you elaborate on what you mean by, you men need the women?
Yes, well, so most men were raised by a woman, but in some cases that mother did not raise them, so it's left up to their girlfriend or their wife to continue to raise them. So God gave us the strength to go out and work and do the manly type things, but he didn't really give us the common sense per se. I know women look at men a lot of times and be like, man, he's just dumb. And when I'm talking to women, when I talk to you, I'll say, we are dumb. You have to explain it to us like we're a 2-year-old. And that is the truth. And a lot of men are not going to explain it to you like that. And so women are given the smarts and we're given the muscle. And that's why I say we need you. It takes two. It takes the both of us together to make it work. So where we're born with one gift, you're born with the other. And there's a saying, listen to the woman, because if you do that, then you will get further. You are born with gifts that we just don't have. And that is a fact. And that's what I meant by that.
Okay, so when you say men need the women, what would you say in reference of the need?
So in my situation with my wife, I make the most money and I pay a lot of the bills, but there's certain things that I probably could not get done if it wasn't for her. Whether it's, say I'm stressed at work and I'm just stressed out and I need someone to bounce ideas off of, even though I'm the one that's doing the work, I may have an issue at work with somebody and I just want to bash them in the head because I'm pissed off at them. It might be my wife to say, no, violence is not the answer. Maybe you should sit them down and try to talk to them and work it out like that. Whereas with a man, we may just want to go to the physical violence, and it may take the woman to be like, no, there's another way to handle it. That's just one example of the calmer head is going to help you prevail to work out that situation, opposed to going to violence and losing your job and having to start all over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just examples like that where the woman with the common sense helps you to make it through, mm-hmm. opposed to just using your anger or using the muscle, mm-hmm. to try to get through everything. Sometimes it takes that level head, a little bit of thinking it through to get through a situation, and not just flying off the handle, wanting to handle everything the way that a man would typically handle things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. Now, when you were saying, let's see where I want to go next. When you were saying to me, don't be blindsided, go into that a little bit more, to any, woman or man that's, listening. when you say don't be blindsided?
So when I said that to you, I think we were talking about a relationship that you had in a past where I think you were saying that the guy wanted to do everything. I think that's what I was talking about. And it's good to have a man that wants to take care of you, but whatever your values was or however your parents raised you, you still have to keep that core value. Like don't let the man change how you were raised. And if that was for you to take care of you, then keep that. Don't let them change who you are. It's okay to let them do what they want to do for you, but don't be so blindsided in a way of letting that handicap you. And then if something happens to that relationship, you're just so used to being taken care of. Now you're completely starting over and you don't know where to turn or what to do because you're blindsided because you've allowed that person to take care of you. Stick with who you are and what you were taught. Allow them to be the man that they want to be for you, but still keep your core values and what you were taught so that you're not blindsided if they decide that relationship is not working.
So why do you think in the beginning of a relationship, a man wants to, do pretty much quote unquote the married part of it? I want to take care of you, I want you to move in with me, that sort of thing, instead of, trying to get to know the lady first before they go straight into, wanting to pay bills or, pay car notes and all this other stuff.
You're asking why do they want to jump to that part first?
Right.
Well, in today's world, the videos and the stuff we see on TV, that's all they talk about is pay my bills. And so for us as men, that's like that we're saying that nowadays before we even get into what your name is, We're telling you that we want to pay bills because we figure that's the way to get to what we want. If we give you what we believe you want, we're going to get to what we want quicker. So I think that's why we're just skipping out all the romance part and trying to get to what we want. And we believe that is the way to do it, is to wine and dine you from the get-go to get to what we want. And that's where the woman is going to mess up if they give in too quickly. Once we get what we want, then if it ain't what we think it's supposed to be, the relationship is going to be over before it even starts. So I think we're just trying to skip straight, all the whining and dining and courting part and just get right to it and jump straight to the bed.
Right. Wow. So when you had said that, speaking of men going straight to what they want, when you said you have to ask for what you want and need, the women have to ask for what they want and need. Why do you think that is so much of, the men not really paying attention to what the woman needs, that she has to ask for it?
Because I think so many women out there are not willing to ask, whether it is they're afraid, whether it is they don't believe they can get it, because so many men are not trying to get it, because so many women are not making you work for what you want. They're just so caught up in just wanting to have someone, just a piece of a man, they're willing to accept anything out there. And so they're afraid to ask for what they want. But you as the woman have to know what it is you want and stand your ground and until you get what you want. If you're willing to settle, then that's why we don't have to give you what you want, because so many people are settling. That's why you have to know what you want and you have to ask for what you want. If you're not willing to ask for it, then we're not going to give it to you. We're like children. We're going to get away with whatever you allow us to get away with.
So, moving on to the next one. When you say, because you said, stay up on it and not let nothing get by. And then you said handle without nagging. Because we do know as women can nag sometimes. When you say stay up on it and let nothing get by, can you elaborate on that?
See, that's a thin line when you talk about, when I say don't let nothing get by and don't nag, that's a very thin line. Now, you can let some things slide, but keep it in the back of your mind That way, if it comes up again, you know that it's a pattern. So when I say don't let it get by, you don't have to bring it up to not let it get by.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in your mind to remind yourself, okay, now this is a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And then decide when is it worth bringing up, because everything that bothers you is not worth bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're bringing up every single thing that bothers you, then it becomes nagging. If you were to ask me what is nagging, every time I turn around, it's a new issue. It's a new issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we did that for women, we would be complaining all the time too, because nobody is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's always something to be unhappy about, especially when you're living with somebody. There's so many things that you're going to see that you did not know when you was just dating somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always something to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that bothers you is not worth talking about.
Right.
Because nothing is perfect. You have to decide what is worth living with, what is worth just letting go.
Mm-hmm.
And you just hold on to it until you can decide that, okay, this is not worth the fight or the argument.
Mm-hmm.
Or, okay, now this has become a problem and now I need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But everything you see every day is not worth talking about, because then it's going to be a nag. You just hold on to it
Mm-hmm.
and decide, can I let this go?
Mm-hmm.
Because something else might be bigger than this little thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can get over it, then get over it.
Mm-hmm.
But everything is not worth talking about.
Mm-hmm. I like that, and that goes into what I was getting ready to ask next. What you were saying, know when to give in. Is it really worth the fight? That's good. And a lot of women need to hear that. You know, everything that you see, you know, is really not worth, you know, the argument, or, you know, there's a lot of wasted time. Because I know my friend I'm in a relationship with now, you know, he made me mad one time, and it was like early in the morning, and I don't like being ticked up early in the morning, because it seems to just ruin my whole day if I let it. And it was like, he made me mad, and it was like I didn't want to talk with him the rest of the day, but he was trying to apologize, and I wasn't trying to hear it at that time. I was just trying to move on with my day, and he was like, babe, that just wasted energy. That just wastes the energy. Is it really worth holding that all day long? I'm trying to fix it. So like you said, we have to pick and choose. You know, is it really worth holding on to? Is it really worth, you know, you ruining your day, you know, over something that could just be, you know, petty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely have to pick and choose your battles. Everything is not worth fighting, and especially ruin a whole day. You literally wasted a whole day of your life over something that you could have either let go, or you could have accepted that apology and moved on. And that's a big one. If somebody cares enough to apologize,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be, if they're big enough to apologize, you got to be big enough to accept that. Now, if that apology is for the same thing over and over and over again, now that's when you got to decide, is this apology a real apology, or are they just using this as a get out of jail free card?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
If you're making the same mistake over and over and over, then okay, now that's a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody makes a mistake and they apologize for it, you got to let that go. And I know you know that, because you're a Christian.
Absolutely.
I know you know that. But if it's the same thing over and over again, then that's something else you got to look at.
Absolutely. That's true. You know, you have to learn when to let go, especially when they're trying to make it right. Because most people won't make it right. But when they're trying to make it right, you know, you have to, like you say, get over it, accept it, and move on to something new.
Because there will be something new. That is a fact.
Yes. So when you say truly understand the other side, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So give me an example of the other side. Like, so you getting in an argument and understanding the other side of where they're coming from? Is that what you're meaning?
Right.
Okay, so can you give me an example of, say, an argument that you had, and then I can explain to you the other side?
Well, I guess, you know, this is, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, because this is it's very petty, but I know this happens a lot, you know, not just with me, but in other relationships, you know. I can't stand the fact of, you know, I'm calling you, and you call me and say, you know, I'll call you right back. You know, then you call me, and then it's like, okay, I'll call you right back. Or if I'm calling you after you just called me and I missed your call, Let's just say that I missed your call and I'm calling you right back. I mean, it ain't even a whole second. And you don't answer the phone. It's like, okay, you just literally called me not even a second ago and you're not picking up the phone. What's going on? And it's like, I had to look at it because that's, we got into that a lot when we first started, dating each other. And it's like, okay, when he pointed out to me what was going on, it's like, okay, you know what? I shouldn't have got mad with him because I'm the same way. If you call me and I'm busy or something and you try to call me back, or we hang up from each other and then you try to call me back, most of the time I put the phone down and start working on something else. I don't just sit and wait,
Okay, now that's a perfect example of understanding the other side. So in my situation, my wife will let the phone ring twice. If you don't answer it, she hanging up.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that. So a lot of times my hands are wet and I cannot, answer the phone with wet hands, or I'm cutting steaks or fish or whatever. I cannot. I got to take off the glove or whatever. So I can't get to it. She only gonna let it ring 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then she gonna say, well, you must be busy, hang up. So I'll do that. I'll call back in that same second, seems like. And it's like, hey, you should still have that phone in your hand. But that's exactly what's happening.
Right.
Is you're probably frustrated that I didn't answer. So you put the phone down and you walk away from it. And so I'm thinking, well, dang, it ain't even been a minute. It ain't been 10 seconds and you're not answering. So when you say, when I say understand the other side, you have to understand what they may have done on why, but that comes from communication. So first of all, you got to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you have the conversation, you have to put yourself in that situation. What do you do when you call them and they don't answer, and then they call back and you didn't answer?
Right.
What did you do when you made that call and they didn't answer? What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
You put the phone down and went and did something else. So is it possible that they did the same thing? That's understanding the other side,
Right.
that they probably did the same thing that you did, especially if they're at work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's understanding, putting yourself in their position, that they probably did the same thing. It had nothing to do with you. It's just routine. Oh, they didn't answer, move on to something else.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, when that happens to me, I instantly take it personal. Like, oh, she didn't answer because I didn't answer.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if you don't have that conversation, then there's no way you're going to know.
Right.
So it starts with having the conversation. Babe, I called you right back. Why didn't you answer? And then they'll tell you, well, I didn't do it because you didn't answer my call. And then you can be mad about it. But maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was, oh, you didn't answer. I figured you was busy. I put the phone down and I walked away from it. Well, now that you know, now you can stop and say, oh, I understand that because I do the same thing.
Right.
So everything is about communication.
Right.
So you just got to ask that question.
Right. And that's good, because I had to learn that the hard way, because I just get irritated. You call me and I call you. I mean, right back. Like you say, the phone should still be in your hand pretty much. And you don't answer. But, like you say, conversation. Having a conversation. Because I heard a lady say one time, conversation kills confusion. And it does.
Yep.
So
that is true.
So I'm going to ask you one more question. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I'm going to ask one more. You said, and I think this is very important in a relationship or marriage, make your other half better.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
So I have a thing that with anybody that I dated, say they're older than you, say they're younger than you, we all have places that we're trying to go, whether it's financially, spiritually, whatever it is. And you want to be with somebody that's going to make you better. So let's say you're with an older man. You would expect that older man has a little bit more knowledge, because they got a little bit more seasoning. They've seen things that you haven't seen, so they should be able to teach you. So it's their responsibility to teach you things that your parents may have not taught you. Teach you things about finances, teaches you things about work, make you better with everything in life. And at the same time, you just being a woman, women are just smarter than men. That's just a fact. You're just going to know things that he don't know. And if your spouse is older, he's going to know things that you don't know. And that's how you're going to be able to make each other better. I'm sure that your man has taught you things that your dad did not teach you. For whatever reason, because it was four of y'all, and maybe somebody didn't get something that they were supposed to have gotten. Well, you want to be with a man that can teach you, that can make you better on something that your parents may have not taught you for whatever reason. And that's all I mean, is that you are supposed to make each other better. You can teach him things that his mom may not have taught him, just because it got missed, or maybe he was just raised by, a single father or whatever. Things that you were taught along the way, you're going to teach him on how to treat you better. Things that you want and the things that you expect, you have to teach him so that he knows how to treat you better. If his mom didn't teach him how to treat a woman, you have to teach him how you want to be treated, because there's a good chance he may not know. And if you don't tell him, then you're not going to get it. So that's mainly what I mean by that, is know how you want to be treated, and then you have to teach him how you want to be treated. Just like you said, an issue that you may have with him that upset you, well, tell him, I don't like this, but this is what I do like. That is you teaching him. That is you teaching him how you want to be treated. Just because the last woman wanted to be treated a certain way doesn't mean that's what you want. So you have to teach the man on how you want to be treated. Not how to treat a woman, but how this woman wants to be treated.
Right.
And that's essentially going to make him better, because it's going to make you happy. And the same thing, he has to teach you that.
Right. I like that. Teach him how to treat this woman, not, woman in general, but the one that you're with. Regardless of who you've been with before, we're here now, and I need you to know how to treat me. So that's good.
But the biggest thing is you have to know how you want to be treated.
Right.
And that's the thing. Either women, they won't tell you, or they just don't know. They just don't know. So if you don't know, then he's never going to know. So make sure that's something that you stick with. Right. When something happens that you don't like, you have to tell him. You don't have to say it in a nagging way. You don't have to say it in a disrespectful way. But make sure you let him know, I don't like this. And this is not something I'm going to stand for. And in the end, he will respect you for it, because you're teaching him what you want. And if a man can't appreciate that, then that's the wrong man for you. So...
That's good. That goes back to you have to ask, and tell them what you want and need. So that's good.
Exactly what that is. That's exactly. I didn't mean, when I said that, I didn't mean financially. That should just come with wanting you to be his woman. Right. He should just know, I have to take care of my woman. And over time he'll realize what kind of material things you want, what kind of house you want, what kind of car. He'll just know that. Right. But as far as how you want to be treated, how you want to be loved, how you want to be touched, you have to tell him that. You have to teach him that, because every woman is not the same. Right. Either he's going to be smart enough to ask you those questions, or you're going to just have to teach him, or it's going to be a trial and error. But it starts with you knowing those things. Right. And if you don't know those things, then y'all have to teach each other. You have to learn together on how that works out. So. But if something happens that you don't like, then you have to fix it. Don't accept something that you don't like or you don't want.
Yeah, this is good. And I definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast and share, so that this will be a light for men as well as women. And I hope and pray that every listener that is listening to this, you have learned something and got some type of nugget that will better help your relationship, will better help your marriage. And the most important thing to pull from this is communication. If you don't communicate, you don't talk about how you feel, what you want. Knowing what you want is another big nugget to pull from this. Knowing what you want and communicating it. Because if you don't communicate it, you cannot expect your partner, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You cannot expect them to know and read your mind. So, brother, I thank you. I thank you for coming on. And until next time, you all have an amazing day. And share this podcast with somebody, another couple, another married couple, so that they can be enlightened and be encouraged. You know, their marriage or relationship is kind of rocky. Give them these tools and maybe it'll help them out. So until next time, you all enjoy your day.